Okay, hello everyone. Thank you very much for joining the last presentation for today. It's actually a quite exciting day for me because not only that I flew for the first time in my life to the Berlin airport, no, I'm also standing for the first time since a really long time in front of people. Like the presenter before, he used the classical screen, Teams calls, that's what we were used all the time, so super exciting to be here. So my topic today, buy now, pay later, to go invoice and installment purchase at the Decathlon POS via smartphone. And before I dive into the project we won a prize for, I want to show you and explain you who the company is that won the prize. It's Unzer. So I'm not sure if everyone knows Unzer. The companies that presented before were Douglas, Otto, quite famous known names. But Unzer is also a rising star in the payment sky. So we are actually based already in 10 locations at the moment. So we are a European player. And the 10 locations are from Aarhus down to Hamburg, to Berlin, Luxembourg, Frankfurt, Heidelberg, down to Munich and Vienna. So we are already now a European payment player, and that's where also the name comes. It comes from the German word Unzer, just pronounced with a Z. So if everyone was wondering where the name comes from, it's Unzer with a Z, ours. So these 750 employees that are currently working in the 10 locations all over Europe, they take care of 70,000 merchants, and those 70,000 merchants approximately process 16 billion of volume a year. I also brought you a video that was released last Friday on our new website. So more beat, more sound. I hope you enjoy it. Yes, Unzer, it's all about payment. And if you have a look at the website, there are more nice videos like this, but I will show you now what differs us from other players on the market. On the screen here, you see that obviously as payment is our core business, we offer most relevant payment methods. You won't find a payment method. If you as a merchant want to expand and grow, you find all relevant payment methods on the screen, no matter if you address the online channel, the offline channel, moto, mobile, or point of sale. But there are some things that differ at Unzer, and that's our white label payment solutions. That differs our portfolio, and I think that's a unique proposition at the moment. But what I believe what will become more and more relevant in payment, it's not only the pure payment processing. In the future, everything will be about data. Data will be in the center of our value proposition. I think payment will become a commodity, but the data that is transported, and I've seen it in the Otto presentation before, where the colleague also showed a lot of nice analytics, data will be in the center in the future. And that's why we believe that our goal goes beyond the pure payment processing. Our goal is become one of the leading unified commerce providers. And what means unified commerce? Unified commerce is omnichannel, but enriched with data, because payment contains a lot of data. And no matter where, in which channel the payment is coming through, all ends up in one centralized data lake. And what is quite important here is the fact that a merchant will be capable to receive and analyze his consumers' purchasing behavior over all channels. And I believe this is where the whole payment business will go towards. And that's why I think we are already working with one of the most unique solutions on the market. How are we able to provide these data? How are we able to achieve unified commerce? There are basically 6 pillars where data comes from and 6 pillars where our core competences come from. One of them, we are a classical payment service provider. Payment service provider with the aim to become a data-driven payment service provider, but we are processing payment. That's in our DNA, that's our core business. But additionally, we are also an acquirer. We do have our own acquiring license. We have our MasterCard license and we have our Visa license. We are, if you are in the point of sale, a commercial and a technical network provider. So e-commerce is covered, point of sale is covered. We have more than 30 years of experience in technical network providing, and also if you need a terminal in your store, we can provide you with a terminal. We have our own cloud-based cashier system, which is called TillHub, a Berlin-based startup, which we signed 2 weeks ago. And if you look at point 5, it's all about the topic today, factoring, buy now, pay later. And with all these 5 pillars, you cover the whole payment ecosystem. And this whole payment ecosystem connected together, leading into one final data stream, makes the unified commerce possible. Furthermore, and I believe this is what differs us in our mentality and in our DNA, we are a fintech. Payment cannot survive without innovation, without working on trends. And we have our own schemes. We have our own payment methods. We are not only processing, we also have our own payment methods that we constantly develop. Just the last slide, and then I'm finished with the Unzer presentation. Some references. We are working actually with some large merchants. I'm head of retail, so my retail team manages and supports large German and European players with our know-how, but we also have travel experts and digital and fintech experts. And supported is our team, and this is also a difference by a technical key account management and solution sales that help optimizing checkouts and processes on the side of the merchant. Okay. Unified commerce is the ultimate goal, where all the data flows into one data lake. But what are we doing now with buy now, pay later? And I think the relevance of buy now, pay later is known. I think there were even today some presentations on the topic of buy now, pay later. It's more than a hype. To pay with invoice, to pay with installment. Especially the pandemics in the DACH region showed when customers for the first time were not able to purchase offline anymore, they moved online. And what was their favorite payment method? It was buy now, pay later. We believe that it's not only a hype. We believe that buy now, pay later is the most important payment method and that numbers will grow. I'm not sure who has implemented the buy now, pay later solution. It's of you as a merchant. There are different ways. You can implement a white label solution like Unzer does. Alternatively, a branded version like the famous Pink brand. Or you can implement your own in-house solution. So buy now, pay later has become a reality. And as I said before, we are more than just a poor payment processor. We are a fintech. We are our own scheme. And that's why we have our own buy now, pay later solutions. Unzer Invoice, Unzer Direct Debit, and Unzer Installment. All these payment methods can be addressed or can be used on different channels, no matter if it's Moto, e-commerce, or POS. But what are the pillars of our buy now, pay later solutions? The pillars are white label. Why white label? White label boosts conversion, and I will come to that in granularity on the later step. Modularity and full flexibility and customizability, because we believe no merchant has the same needs as other merchants. Every merchant has different jobs, different expectations. That's why we believe white labeling and modularity, obviously the protection from payment defaults, I think this is something, it's in factoring a standardized product. This differs us, and this is why we believe with our scheme, with our buy now, pay later solution, we differ from competitors on the market. So now buy now, pay later into more granularity, and I think this is also quite important for the project I will present you. We realized with this large sports retail merchant. Why do we believe that white label is crucial for merchants? Imagine a customer comes to your checkout. He's there for the first time, he selects his products, goes through the checkout, and at the end he does not find the payment method he uses to pay with. Okay. So what can happen in this moment? He is very likely to abandon the shop, leave the basket, and purchase somewhere else. And here statistics and also our experiences show that if merchants offer a white label buy now, pay later solution, the merchant is less likely to abandon the shop. Why? Because your brand as a merchant creates trust. It's the merchant's brand that convinces the customer to remain with the in the checkout process and purchase, because it's your brand that's strong. White labeling and modularity also means that this process from checkout to debt collection can be white labeled, and in modularity you can choose which step in the process should be white labeled and which one should be covered with Unzer as the official brand in the outside. Because we believe modularity is crucial as all shops are different. And now I come to the reason why I'm actually here. We won last year the Best Retail Case Award. This is a happy customer, a happy merchant, and when we won the prize, obviously happy Unzer too. Because what did we achieve? We brought our knowledge, our know-how, our innovation from online to the offline world. And this is the project actually which I'm going to present you now. Let's generally think of challenges for merchants in their stores, offline, in-store. So they have challenges with high shopping baskets. They have challenges with customers with low purchasing power, or challenges with unplanned purchases. So how does it work? High shopping basket, I mean, you have your credit card, but obviously a credit card has a limit. So if you want to buy a bicycle at this sports merchant, but you plan also your vacation, you might have limit issues. Still, you could carry cash with you. But let's say it's identified by a lot of merchants as a challenge. Low purchasing power challenges. Possibility to afford the bicycle, but not at once. To afford the bicycle in installments. Or unplanned purchases, spontaneous shopping, but not having enough money. So what did our merchant in this case do, and what do most of majority of merchants do? They collaborate with banks. There are banks that offer financing systems, financing processes. So the customer, when he wants to buy his bicycle, addresses the shopkeeper, the employee of the shop, and then he has to file a kind of application to get a credit. So this is a poor paper-based process. This is a process where you need to reveal to an employee of the shop data like birth date, name, your salary, your address, a lot of privacy-related data where you won't feel comfortable in revealing this information to someone who works in a shop. And often, these negotiations are not taking place in a separate room, but in front of other people. So this was actually a problem for our merchant. And what did we do then? We developed together a product which is called Unzer Pay Later POS. By digitalizing this full process, by changing the legal framework of the contractual setup and bringing this product, which is online now, the most popular payment method, to the offline world. And that's the reason why we won the prize for, and we are very happy. And I will show you now in steps how it looks like and how it can work. So the whole process is revolutionary because we digitalized the process 100%. We minimized KYC documents, and the merchant, by changing the contractual setup, is the direct contractual partner of the customer. So how does it look like? And for you, I brought a video later on so you can go through the whole process also, that you see how easy and smooth it's running. The customer picks his bicycle, wants to check out and approaches someone from the store. Inside the store, the employee enters in his cashier system or in a separate system. It's also a question of integration, the telephone number or email address of the customer. The customer receives a link on his mobile phone. First step, you're moving in-store to an online check-in. So you're suddenly, as a customer, in the online check-in of the most popular payment method. So you are used to checking out online. The whole credit check takes place online, and the whole process lasts a few seconds. Always keep in mind, the alternative is a paper-based process. So when he gets the approval, he can leave the store with the confirmation. Alternative product, some people don't feel comfortable in checking out with their own mobile phone, so a possibility is to use a tablet in-store, but it's obviously, it's a full digitalization of the process, but it's still from the privacy aspect, not the full advantage as if you do it on your own. As in Buy Now, Pay Later, the merchant, whenever the confirmation of the credit check of the customer is here, the merchant receives his funding, and we then collect the fundings from the customer. And I show you now in a video, please keep in mind, paper-based processes are the competitions. So the whole checkout process, this is not a customer who wants to buy his bicycle. It can be white labeled too. I believe, and that's what I said before, white labeling trusts confidence. So even here, if you have the brand of your merchant, customers have the impression that they buy from you and you are responsible for the financing. So here entering, always on your own mobile device, birthday, the dates, the address. You will not see a single time where someone asks you about your salary. In the paper-based process, you might get the question, prove that you have your earnings, prove that you have your salary, and in the worst case, you need to come back one day later to provide this information which interrupts the purchasing process. Here, actually, the customer is still standing with his own mobile device, entering all the data, and we know that this happy customer can afford the bicycle. So this was a process which lasts 1 minute compared to an average 45-minute process of application. Alternatively, and remember, the customers with low purchasing power, installment plans calculated immediately. You can choose these installment plans by picking and accepting the terms and conditions. Our customer gets a confirmation and he can leave the store. So this is digitalizing a very old-fashioned process. And we believe that it's not only fast, because it takes only, it's 5 minutes. I don't know, maybe if you have questions about your address, it could last 5 minutes, but it's flexible and it's quite simple. And that's why we believe, and this is what our numbers show, that it's a beneficial solution for a merchant and for the customer. What is the advantage for the merchant? It increases sales, especially, remember, high basket, low purchasing power, spontaneous purchasing. So you have a better conversion. You also have the better conversion because of the advantages I presented before of white label solution. The customer always remains with you. It's an easy integration for the solution. You can integrate it into your cashier system, or alternatively, you can have it as a standalone solution. It reduces cash in store. And what I learned in the pandemic is that people nowadays tend to avoid personal contact, so it reduces the personal interaction by putting the checkout into your own sphere, onto your own mobile device. Even for the customers, there are a lot of advantages. They pay when it fits. They have no documents that are required to bring with them, and they can pay whenever their financing plan allows them. Good. I am at the end of my presentation, and I hope you saw the benefits that online to offline can bring to a merchant. And we know that we made one merchant very happy, and we won the prize for our solution. So if there are any questions, or if you want to know more, just visit us at our booth number. Wo ist unser Stand? D something. It's Raspberry. Easy to find. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christopher. We still have a few minutes. If anyone wants to have the first questions for Christoph. Yes. This is on.
Thank you. I have a question about the in-store experience. Are the buyers authenticated in the store somehow?
Yeah, you mean for documents?
Yes. How do you know that what he enters?
Yeah, you're totally right. Yeah, absolutely. You need to control a document. Yes, and there is even the possibility to scan it. Actually, to have a scan of the document which validates the document. Absolutely right. Yes.
So this is done by the merchant?
This is done by the merchant. Yes, or it's included in the process.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Thank you.
Great presentation. Thanks a lot. Very innovative, I think. I've got a question on acceptance rates. So how high are your acceptance rates at the point of sale, and what happens with the negative credit checks? So what's the fallback mechanism, basically?
I'm sorry, I could not acoustically understand the question.
Sorry. So what's acceptance rates at the point of sale compared to online maybe as well? And
okay.
What happens with the negative credit checks? So what's the fallback mechanism?
I do not know the acceptance rate. In sports retail, the acceptance rates are very high, but obviously it depends on the merchant who uses the product, because there are more merchants. I don't know acceptance rates because there are different channels actually connected the way we set it up, from the tablet version and the phone version. So I cannot give you acceptance rate numbers. The fallback scenario, meaning when the system fails? When the credit check is negative, okay, then the information is there that the customer is declined. And then you have the same process like online. He needs to pay in cash. he cannot buy the bicycle. But yeah, that's a valid point. Yeah, obviously the credit check can be negative too. Yeah.
Is the weight of buy now, pay later 32% in store the same as online, or is it less?
The acceptance rate.
No, the share of
the share. Yeah, sorry, acoustics. I don't see the share in store.
And
because sorry, now I get the question. I don't see the share in store because I don't know who purchases with other payment methods like cash. Okay, so that's basically included. But we know that during the pandemics, when stores were open, the share was rising drastically because people wanted to avoid physical contact. Okay, I don't know numbers at the moment, but we know that there was a time when physical interaction was limited, but I don't have any numbers. Sorry for that.
All right.
But I believe the share is, or I'm sure the share is not the same as in e-commerce, obviously, because I believe, especially in a country like Germany, if cash payment was easier online, it would also be quite a big dot in Germany. So sorry for not understanding the question acoustically.
No worries, thank you.